This is a camera, and this is its sibling, and they are an idea of a camera that Sony has forgotten, I think. They are pretty much, I think, as close as we will ever get to Sony making a vintage inspired camera, and I think maybe that was not even the intention. I don't know. These cameras, the original Sony A7s, they're the least Sony-ish cameras that you will ever find, even including all the DSLRs. They have sort of a charm to them that Sony cameras rarely has. So Sony cameras, they're always about speed, competition with Sony's competitors. They're always about being the best. They're always about bringing Sony up on the next level of autofocus, card speed, whatever. There's something liberating about the original A7 series, because they're none of that. They are stupidly slow. They are unreliable. They are quirky. You get this same limitation when shooting with these cameras that just makes you a little bit sharper, because you have time to think in between shooting, and you have to shoot a little bit more with a purpose, because the shutter is going instead of. You sort of get into this way of shooting that I can only compare to like shooting with a Fujifilm GFX or a film camera or something. I think that's a really nice experience that I think surpasses that even of many Fujifilm cameras of the X series. But these cameras are also horribly bad. They will like implode on themselves. The batteries are bad. They last less than 8 years. The grip will tear off by itself in no time, and you cannot buy a replacement. You have to figure out something else or live with pretty much a bare bone grip. The mount of the camera is notorious for being a little bit weak on the first two cameras, a little bit better on the S, but I can tell that mine is a little bit looser on the R than at the S. Both of my bodies have an unfunctioning thumb drive. I still live with it because I shoot with it in aperture mode. I use them a lot still, actually, but I use them as behind the scene cameras when I'm shooting theater stage work. But for that, I think aperture priority is fine, because I just need to pick up the camera, shoot whatever's going on when we're not photographing. So I don't need to be shooting manually anyway. So I think what's interesting about these cameras is that they are sort of this idea that Sony had for themselves of a camera when they released the series. And they sort of forgot, and they never really re-entered this. They made smaller cameras, but they haven't really made something that made me want to pick that camera up, and I don't know. But I still use these Sony cameras a lot, like I said, and I'll continue to use them as my behind the scene cameras, and as my holiday cameras, and as my everyday carry cameras until they break, or until the lenses break, or whatever breaks. And even then, if just one of these parts break, I might find something to replace one of them if I still have the lenses for it. I haven't really found this camera that I would buy when they no longer works. Maybe the Nikon ZF, because it sort of touches all the same buttons except for that flippy screen. So I'm not a swirly flippy screen hater or anything. I kind of like them actually on my XT4. I think it's nice to be able to toggle away the screen. But for this sort of everyday carry kind of camera, I think it's very important to have this screen that you can flip out and use from the hip. Without that, I sort of feel like I'm not really in touch with the camera in the same way. I don't feel like that at all when I shoot professional. Then I can pretty much use any screen, it doesn't matter, because I'm mostly using the viewfinder. But as an everyday carry, I don't really think that I could live with this flippy screen. So yeah, in that way, I don't think I ever found a real replacement for this camera if it breaks. So I hope it doesn't break, but I feel like it's also limited time. But I felt like that for years, so we'll see. With all this good things about the cameras that I like, would I recommend you to go out and buy one? Actually not. I would not. I think all of the first generation Sony cameras, they're doomed to fail at some point. If not the screen coating of the LCD, then it's the rubber grip that will fall apart. Or then it's the mount, or it's one of the control dials will fail at some point and you will not be able to get it fixed. At least I haven't found anywhere. Without having looked too much into the used market, I would actually think the Mark II versions of all of this A7 series are probably around the same price anyway. So just go for that. Or go for something completely different. So yeah, don't buy it. But if you have it, love it. Really do. Really love this camera until it breaks on you. Because it is sort of a unicorn camera. And I truly do hope that Sony will recognize this at some point and pick up the burned bones from the ashes. Otherwise, yeah, if my bodies break and my 35mm is still alive, I think I'll just buy that Nikon ZF with a Megadap adapter and Megadap that lens. Yeah, I think that is all I have to say about it.